If you haven't seen the hype for Fast, then you probably don't spend a lot of time on Twitter, which is a good thing. Fast is a new payments/checkout service that is promising to upgrade the internet. Backed by Stripe, the payment engine that powers Shopify's payment service, and a whole bunch of social media hype, we finally made it to the launch of Fast. Here we go again. Another startup that's all hyped up and not coming close to delivering on those promises. What was that? It's going to do what? They can do that? Like, that's possible. Turns out this may be more interesting than I expected. Pull yourself up a chair and let's talk about it. My name is TJ Gamble. I'm an e-commerceaholic and founder of Jamerson, an e-commerce agency that's dedicated to helping you get more from your e-commerce store. If you're new around here and looking to get your master's degree in e-commerce from the School of Hard Knocks, then consider hitting that subscribe button and sticking around because class is in session, and today's lecture is on checkout and payments. I wasn't sure what to expect going into this launch announcement. I'll be honest. I hadn't done a lot of research on Fast. I saw all the marketing hype, and I figured it'd just be a hyped up version of what's already out there. Let's do the same thing that other folks are doing, but let's put a bunch of marketing dollars behind it. Yay! After watching the announcement video, though, there's some genius to it. It literally is the logical next step in the evolution of checkout and payments, and I'm surprised that no one has done it thus far. Like, this has to exist already. It just makes too much sense. So once you watch the video, if you know of some other service that's already doing this, let me know, because I'm not aware of them, but it has to be out there. For you to really understand what I'm talking about, I need to do an oversimplified recap of the history of online payments, and I'll make it quick. The year was 1999. A much younger and skinnier version of myself was just getting started in e-commerce. At that time, most businesses were manually managing their website data. Back office systems were not integration friendly, so automating things like inventory control wasn't an easy task. And when an order was placed, the website really had no clue if you actually had that product or not. To overcome this, the site would take credit card information from the customers, hit the payment gateway to confirm this was a good working card, and then proceed to store that card information in the database. When the order was ready for shipment, you could then use that stored data to charge the credit card. The problem is, many folks never really cleaned out those old records. So if the site was ever compromised, well, they hit the mother lode. I could sense it. Some of you young'uns are thinking, that doesn't sound very secure. Well, Johnny, it wasn't. It was a different time. You have no idea how hard we had it, so quit judging. I hope someday you have children that treat you exactly like... Let's just continue the story. At some point, the credit card industry realized that developers couldn't be trusted and started enacting harsh penalties to merchants for their developer stupidity, which is how we got PCI compliance. Over time, merchants got tired of hearing about PCI compliance, went broke from paying developers to adhere to PCI standards, and then bounced a few checks paying hosting companies to keep an eye on their PCI compliance. Payment companies, to combat this PCI fatigue, started offering more secure hosted checkout offerings that helped, but didn't completely alleviate the issue. Then came the rise in SaaS e-commerce platforms. All of those issues were now the platform's problems. Merchants once again have time to get back to focusing on their real problems, like whether to use a caricature of their dog as the mascot on every single page of their non-dog related website. Outside of a few hiccups, aka Volusion's 2019 hack, this claim seems to have held up. For the most part, this fixed a lot of the major security concerns around payments. What it didn't do, though, is address the user experience side of things. And that's where this next phase has been focused. How do we make it easier for folks to pay for things? That question has led to the evolution of payments going from focusing on security and transactions to focusing completely on the checkout process. Checkout has always been one of Amazon's biggest advantages. And if we're all going to keep up, then an evolution is required. The fact that you can buy just about anything from just about anyone and have a single, simple checkout experience is impossible for small merchants to compete with. Honestly, it's impossible for big merchants to compete with as well, but mentioning big businesses kills this touchy, feel-good angle of Fast helping the small merchant that I'm going for with this video. The next big improvement in payments was the evolution of Shopify's payment capabilities. Having the ability for any customer that is checked out using Shopify payments to be able to quickly, without entering any information, check out on any site is game-changing for those merchants. The conversion rates soar through the roof. Functionality like that, though, requires market penetration to be useful. A significant number of your customers need to be users of that service, or it's pretty much just another checkout. It's an optimized checkout, so it may do better than your platform's checkout, but you just aren't getting the same return as you would otherwise. There are several startups like Bolt that are doing something similar. Optimized checkout that works across multiple websites. The problem is that they don't yet have that market penetration to really solidify their value proposition. That's not a problem with Shopify. Shopify is the most popular e-commerce platform on the planet, and pretty much every one of those suckers is using their payment service. Now, their problem is that they're going for this whole walled garden ecosystem, so they aren't getting users from other platforms. And it makes sense from their perspective. I'm not knocking them about it, but it limits the usefulness and reach of their solution. So I see an announcement for Fast, and I think it's probably just another Bolt-style product with a whole bunch of marketing dollars and hype thrown around. I thought it might be interesting for some content, though, and Lord knows I need some topics that draw in some viewers, so I decided to tune in. And I'm glad I did, because it's interesting. It takes what Bolt does, but goes a bit further. Their focus is not on the checkout experience on any individual site. That's boring crap. It's been done before. No. Fast focuses on the entire user experience from the time you're ready to check out moving forward. And it can do that because it keeps a record of what you bought and from where. Now, that gives it capabilities beyond what a normal payment service has. For example, I'm always buying stuff from dodgy websites that look like they probably haven't evolved since 1999 and are definitely storing credit cards on the site. So I use PayPal for a lot of these orders. If I log into PayPal, it tells me that I sent $400 to some random business name that I don't remember or recognize. It has that transaction data. What it doesn't tell me, though, is that I bought wheels for my 1990 Volkswagen Corrado and linked me to the product page on that company's website. Fast could literally end up being a transaction history of everything you buy on the web in one easy-to-use location. You then have one app to track all of your orders from everywhere. Well, at least everywhere that supports fast payments. Now, this has possibilities bigger than just checkout if they decide to use this data in creative ways. I don't know Fast's intentions, but once you control everything post-product discovery, the discovery piece seems pretty simple. I'll keep an eye out to see if they head down this marketplace path, but the possibilities with Fast are intriguing. The fact that they're teaming up with BigCommerce on this launch is interesting as well, and I'm sure it'll push that already skyrocketing Big C stock up even higher. I'd love to know the details of that partnership. Is this how BigCommerce finally gets into the payment game? Maybe. Link is in the description to BigCommerce for a free trial if you want to check them out, maybe try to plug Fast in, see how it all works. The problem, though, with Fast is the same problem that Bolt has. Until you get a meaningful market share, then the benefits are limited. Now, I'm not saying there aren't benefits outside of scale. These checkout services may very well be worth every single penny you give them, depending on your business. And I've recommended them numerous times in the past for those struggling with checkout issues. It's just that at some point, it becomes a no-brainer. And that point comes with a big user base. The great thing is, Fast functionality goes a step further to give users more incentive to use their service. That, combined with their partnership with BigCommerce and all that Stripe money in a marketing war chest, means they have a great chance at hitting that critical mass. Hey, Fast, if you happen to be watching this and you want to market on, or maybe just outright buy a small e-commerce YouTube channel, I'm always for sale. Hit me up. I'm interested in what you're doing. But what do I know? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do not let my opinion be the only one that's heard. Here are a couple of other videos you may enjoy. Feel free to click on one of those because we're all done over here. Again, if you're into e-commerce, consider hitting that subscribe button and welcome. Giving this video a thumbs up is always helpful and much appreciated, and I'll see you next time.